work schedule. So calculation for hours of days per day. Number one, we know that site opens by 7 a.m. but work actually starts 8 a.m. and close 5 p.m. on site. So I've told you that work start 8 a.m. and close 5 p.m. on site. So this is our MS project. So we have already said this before. Look at our schedule. So our default start time is 8 a.m. while our default end time is 5 p.m. So now our work start by 8 a.m. and close by 5 p.m. So we first work from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So after 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. so our workers will now cool off between 11 to 12. So they will cool off, they will heat. So between 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. so they will do the many work from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So that makes 8 working hours. So our actual production period is 8 hours. So assuming 80% productive time. So we are assuming 80% efficiency. So in our site, some things may not all go well, something may not go right. So that's why we are assuming 80% efficiency. So 80% efficiency of 8 hours is 6 hours 40 minutes. It's 6 hours 40 minutes. So that's 6 hours 40 minutes. We are going to be making use of that in our calculation. So this is example 1. So block work per square meter is 350 meters square. So output per gang per hour is 2.5 meters square per hour. This output per gang per hour is determined from previous project of a company or of maybe construction organization. So they might have measured their work, their manpower, so and they may have been able to determine the number of work in which their gang can perform meter square in 1 hour. So that's output per hour. So and it varies. So it depends on a company's previous project and their experience. So this is their output. So and the number of gang is 2. So and for block work, our gang is 1 bricklayer and 1 laborer. So it's asking now that determine the number of days to complete the task. So to do that, our duration, we first get our duration in hours. So our duration in hours is quantity divided by the output of gang per hour. So we divide 350 divided by 2.5 and we get 140 hours. 140 hours. So to convert our 140 hours to days, so the total number of days is duration in hours divided by hours of work per day. So 140 divided by 6, we know we already assume 80% efficiency. So that 80% efficiency is 6 hours 40 minutes. So we divide our 140 by 6, so we get 23.3 days. So the number of days to complete the task is total number of days divided by gang. So note that our gang is 2 gang. So it's 2 gang. So we divide our number of days divided by gang. So we get 12 days. 12 days for our construction of block work. So that's how we are able to get the number of tasks, number of duration, number of days for our tasks. So I will go to example number 2. So example number 2 is likely the same thing. So concrete in foundation is 150 meter cube. So to pour concrete in a foundation of 150 meter cube. So the output of gang per hour is 5 meter cube divided by hour. So I've told you that this output of a gang is determined by previous experience, previous project by a construction organization or company. So and the number of gang is two. So the gang for this work is 2 bricklayers, 22 laborers with working with a miser. That's the gang. That's the gang. So to determine the number of days to complete the task, so the solution is duration in hours equal to quantity divided by output of gang per hour. This quantity divided by output of gang per hour. So it's 150 meter cube divided by 5 meter cube divided by meter cube per hour. So if divide 150 by 5, we get 30 hours. We get 30 hours. So our 30 hours now, if you want to convert our 30 hours to days, so divided by 6, we get 5 days. So the number of days to complete the task, total number of days divided by number of gang. So our number of gang here is 2. So 5 divided by 2 is 3 days. So that's how we are able to get the number of days assigned to our work. This days is not just a guesswork. So I've shown you a gimmicks in doing that. So after getting the number of your days to complete each task, so you move to your information to obtain for your construction program preparation. So to prepare your construction program, so there are informations you need to obtain. Number 1, construction methodology. I've told you that the construction method we use on site depends a lot. Are we using manual? Are we using mechanical? Are we using mixed? So it depends. So this method of construction will affect our construction program of work. 2, list of operations. What are your list of operations? You first list out your operations. I will take note of the sub or minor operations that comes under. You take notice of the main operation, and you now take note of the sub or minor operations that comes under. Number 3 is sequence of operation. Like you note how your tasks follow each other. After site clearance, then you cannot talk of removal of topsoil. So after removal of topsoil, you cannot talk of leveling. You cannot do setting out without clearance. So you take note of the sequence of operation. You list your work according to sequence. Number 4, gang size and output. I've told you that gang size and output are determined from previous projects, are determined from experience of construction companies or construction firm. So number 5 is period agreed with subcontractors. So period agreed with subcontractors will affect the durations of our work. We affect the dependencies. We affect before each work can start. We need to take note of the period agreed with subcontractors. Number 5 is number of gangs for each operation. We need to determine the number of gangs. Are we having, for example now, number of gangs 2? So we now need to determine the number of gangs, number of resources available for each operations. So 6 or 7 is type and size of plant and equipment. So you need to determine the size of your equipment. Are you using heavy equipment? Are you using which size of equipment are you using? So number 7 or 8 is key dates and activity timing. What are key dates? Key dates are public holiday, general holiday. Your October 1, which is your Independence Day, is an example of your key holidays. Your Christmas Day, your Boxing Day, your New Year you take note of your key dates before you can prepare your construction program. And you take note of activity timing. What did I mean by activity timing? When casting of lintel, before you can remove your formwork, it will take about 24 hours for your lintel, same as column. Before you can remove the formwork for a column, it will take up to 24 hours. 24 hours. Before you can remove the surface of your slab that made the formwork at the bottom of your slab, it will take like 24 days, 28 days rather. It will take like 28 days, like going to a month. So those days, those activity timing will determine the duration and will determine your next work and will determine the dependency of your work. The last but not the least is construction cycle. Construction cycle. In multi-level building, if you don't finish the first floor, you cannot go to the second floor. If you are not through with the first floor in some construction, you cannot go to the second floor. So what are your construction cycle? So you take note of your construction cycle. Last, now this note talk about the sequence of construction program preparation. So this one is about the information that you need to obtain before you can prepare your construction program. This one is talking about the sequence, like what are the steps you need to carry it out after obtaining the information. Number one is compile quantity from bills. I've told you that you need to obtain your bill of quantity, your quantity from the bill of quantity in which you are going to collect from your QS. So you need to collect all quantities from the bill of quantity. So number two is prepare your calculation sheet. So example now, this is your calculation sheet. You have to sit down and calculate for your works, get the number of durations for your work. So you need to prepare your calculation sheets. Take the list task item. You need to list task item and insert durations. So you need to list all your items after making your calculations. So you now insert your durations. Insert your durations. So after inserting your durations, calculate network using computer. So you need to link your work together. You need to set the predecessors. You need to set the dependency. You need to link up your work together. So that is calculate network. Number 5 is view program or monitor. So after linking your work, you now view your work. You check if there's any errors. So you have to view program or monitor. After that, before printing, you have to edit your header and footer. So we have done that. We edit our header, we edit our footer, we edit our legend. So we edit them. So after editing them, you will now prepare edit font style, type, size and logo. You insert your company's logo and size and everything. So next one is print PDF copy and study. You have to first print offline PDF on your system and first of all study. So after studying, so you now correct errors. You correct available errors. So after correcting your errors, you now have to reduce. Maybe you have to reduce your task, you have to reduce duration, or you have to increase. So reduce, adjust task, project time. So after correcting your errors, so after reducing your task, you have to reprint the PDF copy of your program. So again, you now reprint, you plot your work into PDF and check for errors again. So after checking for errors, you now do the final copy of the program. So thank you for listening. So these are the tips these are the tips for preparing your construction program.
Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos. Click the notification button to subscribe to my YouTube channel for better upcoming videos. Thank you. God bless you. Bye bye.